many of us, depending on your childhood and your time spent in the womb, were deeply unloved people who didn't get the attention that they needed and didn't feel the love that they needed to feel. Many of us needed to be the emotional support for our parents because our parents were depressed or our parents were stressed out. And not only do we not get our love or attention needs met, we had to make sure that other people had to feel okay, such as our mother, and your father, if your father was a drinker or used drugs. And as an adult or even a teenager, you will most likely feel empty inside if you spend enough time with yourself. And no matter what you do to heal that emptiness, whether it's relationships, sex, eating, whatever, you'll always kind of crave that attention and that love. And I don't know if it ever goes away. I make these videos because I live a half-life. I do very well in isolation, and when I was a child I spent a lot of time by myself because my mom was always at work. She always had to work 2 jobs, or she always had to work overtime, so I spent a lot of time entertaining myself and a lot of time in isolation. So now it just comes very easily to me to just sit and talk by myself. I talk to myself quite a bit, tell stories and things like that. I sing to myself quite a bit. Anything really to entertain myself. Because I can't really go out into society. Because I do well at first. The first couple of weeks, I guess. People tend to like me, and I'm kind of very joyful, but drinking is a big part of our culture, and me wanting to be a part of a group or a part of things. If I say I'm not going to drink, I immediately get excluded. I'm not a part of the group, or I'm not a part of the people. So I drink. And when I drink, I either get very emotional, very loving, or very aggressive, or even very sad. It depends on where I'm at and what the external environment is saying and how the people around me are talking with me, and if they are mean or not, or if they have the wrong energy, or if they seem like not nice people. And I don't really do well with not nice people. I think everybody should be kind and loving. My life is kind of like a Winnie the Pooh scenario. where I'm always in the 100-acre woods, where I believe that everybody should be as kind and loving as Winnie the Pooh. And if people aren't, I think they're evil and they shouldn't exist on this planet, because they're going to cause other people to suffer and they're going to hurt other people. So I feel like I have the right to kill them. And if they're judgmental towards other people, I think that's really mean. So I feel the right, and I have the right to kill them. And I can't get past that. I've always struggled with that. And I've ended up in many mental institutions because of that. The fact that I think people should not exist if they're going to be mean, or if they're going to be judgmental, because why are they here? If you're on this planet, you should be loving and nice. And if you don't, you shouldn't be here on this planet. You should be gone. Because if you're causing other people to suffer, then why are you here? And I should have the right to eliminate you. And that's how I live my life. And I also drift a lot, so people probably think I'm strange. And the one thing I can say about trauma is the more trauma and abuse and the more that you didn't feel loved as a child and you felt like nobody was paying attention to you, or you were neglected and you didn't feel cared about, like nobody really cared that you even existed, the more things are going to trigger you and bother you throughout the rest of your life. So if you were very loved as a child, you know, everything's going to be pretty good throughout your life, most likely. You know, you're not going to get triggered so easily. You're not probably going to get as angry, and you're not going to get as addicted to things, and you're not going to enter bad relationships with harmful people. You're going to see harmful people, and you're going to be like, that's not cool. I am not getting involved with that person. They're obviously messed up. So you're going to be with cute, nice, loving people, if you come from a very loving family, most likely. As long as your parents weren't too strict on you and they were like, you got to be a certain way, and you know, you got to be the best, and you know, that could be very damaging. It adds a lot of stress to the child. But if your parents were very loving unconditionally, and regardless of what your achievements were, they still loved you, you're most likely going to have a very beautiful life, and you're not going to get triggered by most things. But if you went through a lot of trauma, abuse, abandonment, and feelings of not being loved or paid attention to, you're going to most likely get triggered by a lot of things. That's a huge plane, and it's right there, right over my head. That's so scary. It's not really scary. I just find things that fly in the air that are that large very weird. Especially when I'm in the forest and I feel like the world is very old. And then all of a sudden this gigantic modern day life thing flies over my head. But yeah, so hopefully you had a loving childhood, you know. What time are we at? And if you felt very unloved as a child, or you felt hurt a lot, or you felt like you weren't paying attention to, you're most likely going to feel more things. You can be more sensitive and you're going to get hurt more. Anyways, thank you very much.